Beyond the fear of automation, finding purpose in a changing world. We are living through one of the most disruptive chapters in modern work. AI, automation, and restructuring are rewriting the rules faster than we can adapt. For many, it feels as if the ground itself is shifting. Roles are changing, teams are shrinking, and in the quiet corners of conversation, a deeper question echoes: where do I belong in a world that no longer needs what I used to do? Worried about your job security in 2025 and beyond? You are not alone. But what if the secret to thriving in a rapidly changing world is not found in chasing the newest technology, but in revisiting wisdom that's thousands of years old? Ancient philosophies, from the Upanishads to Stoicism, were written for moments just like this: times of uncertainty, transition, and reinvention. They hold not just comfort but tools, practical strategies to build clarity, resilience, and purpose in a world that feels increasingly uncertain. Welcome to the Inner Compass with Kishore. I am Kishore Kumar Thakur, leadership coach, facilitator, and lifelong student of ancient wisdom for modern leadership. Today, we explore the fear of being replaced and how to rediscover value, awareness, and stillness in a world that's constantly reinventing itself. Fear doesn't just live in the mind, it reshapes the brain. When we face uncertainty, a reorganization, a layoff, or the threat of being replaced, our nervous system responds long before logic does. The amygdala, the brain's threat center, takes control. It releases cortisol, it narrows perception, it makes us cling to the familiar even when the familiar no longer fits. Fear is ancient. It was designed to keep us safe, but the same instinct that once protected us from predators can now trap us in cycles of overthinking, comparison, and self doubt. In the workplace, this fear wears many disguises: overworking to stay visible, withholding ideas to avoid judgment, staying silent in meetings that demand your voice. Yet, beneath all of it lies one quiet sentence: what if I am no longer needed? When fear dominates the prefrontal cortex, our center for creativity, logic, and empathy, literally goes offline. It's like trying to write poetry while standing in fire. We can't innovate when we are in survival mode, but there is another way. The moment we pause, the moment awareness re enters, the brain begins to shift. That single breath of awareness reactivates clarity, perspective widens, options reappear. Fear shrinks the map, awareness redraws it. Fear will visit, but awareness allows it to pass through without taking over. AI can predict, but it cannot perceive. It can analyze, but it cannot empathize. It can automate, but it cannot attune. Machines are magnificent at learning patterns, but they cannot feel meaning. They can recognize language, but they cannot listen to silence. They can process emotions, but they cannot experience it. AI replicates intelligence, humans embody awareness. That is the difference. Machines learn from the past, awareness lives in the present. And that difference, presence, is what keeps intelligence alive. Technology will always improve. The question is, will our consciousness? When we fear automation, we are really fearing the loss of control. But what if technology is not here to replace us, but to remind us of what can't be replaced? AI can mirror knowledge, but only humans can hold wisdom. It can translate words, but not compassion. It can stimulate, it can simulate connection, but not presence. Presence cannot be coded, it can only be cultivated. Every technological leap throughout history has first caused fear, then eventually revealed new purpose. The printing press was once a threat to scribes. Electricity disrupted craftsmen. The internet unsettled industries. Yet, every disruption gave birth to something deeper, new forms of creation, new ways to connect, new awakenings of awareness. AI will be no different. It's not the end of human relevance, it's the next invitation to rediscover what it truly means to be human. We don't need to compete with machines, we need to remember what they can never become: aware. We have been trained for decades to think in terms of employment, to chase security, stability, and structure. But the future belongs to those who think in terms of value. Your job is what you do, your value is what you bring. The energy, awareness, and empathy you offer wherever you are. A job can be taken away, but value cannot. When we define ourselves only by our titles or skills, we live in fear of losing them. But when we anchor ourselves in purpose, we become adaptive, fluid, timeless. The old model said, learn a skill and protect it. The new era whispers, learn to learn and you will always evolve. Your relevance does not depend on what you produce, but on how present you are in what you create. There is a quiet revolution happening, a shift from doing to being, from employment to expression. It's no longer enough to ask, what do I do? We must begin to ask, what do I bring alive in the places I touch? Value is not what you know, it's how consciously you use what you know. In this new world of work, the most powerful professionals will not be the most technical, but the most self aware. Those who can navigate complexity with calm, balance logic with empathy, lead with presence rather than pressure. This is the essence of conscious leadership, to bring awareness wherever system turns mechanical. When you stop defending your job and start expanding your purpose, you move from survival to creation, from needing validation to generating meaning. The world does not need more people working harder, it needs more people working wiser from stillness. We cannot always control what changes, but we can control the state of awareness we bring into change. That is the real security. Not in systems or structures, but in consciousness itself. Every challenge we face, every change we resist is also an opportunity for our brain to evolve. Science calls it neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to reorganize itself, to create new neural pathways through learning, reflection, and repetition. It means that no experience is final, no skill is fixed, no mindset is permanent. Your brain, your very biology is designed for adaptation. When you step into uncertainty, you are not breaking, you are rewiring. Each time you learn something new, each time you respond with awareness instead of fear, you strengthen the circuits for calm, clarity, and courage. Fear says, what if I can't? Curiosity says, what could this make possible? The people who thrive through disruption are not the ones who predict the future, but the ones who stay flexible enough to grow with it. Resilience is not about being unshaken, it's about learning how to recover faster. And that begins not in the brain alone, but in the nervous system. When you slow your breath, when you ground your attention in the present, you signal to the body, I am safe. That single signal switches off the stress response and reopens access to your most creative and wise self. You don't need to wait for the world to stabilize before you find your balance. You can create stability from within. Every time you pause before reacting, you are practicing neuroplasticity. Every moment of reflection is a rehearsal of renewal. And with each breath of awareness, your mind learns to rest deeper and rise stronger. Adaptability is not the absence of fear, it is the art of staying awake within it. As the world accelerates, remember this: you are not falling behind, you are rewiring forward. Awareness is not built in theory, it is cultivated through practice. To meet a changing world with stillness, we need rituals of renewal, moments that reconnect us with clarity, presence, and purpose. Here are three practices to begin with. Pause before reacting. When fear rises, before you respond or decide, pause, take one conscious breath. That single moment, simple but deliberate, switches your body from reaction to response. It reopens your access to creativity, compassion, and logic. In leadership, in conversation, in crisis, this pause is not weakness, it's wisdom. The pause is where awareness re enters the room. 2. Reflect on value. Ask yourself, what part of my work no machine can replace? It might be your empathy, your intuition, your ability to connect, to sense what others need before they speak. These are not soft skills, they are human strengths, the foundation of conscious leadership. The more you nurture your awareness, the more irreplaceable you become. 3. Connect with community. Fear isolates, connection heals. Speak to others who are also navigating uncertainty. Share reflection, not panic. Remind each other that growth is collective. No one renews alone. Even this listening, learning, reflecting together is a quiet act of renewal. When we breathe together, we remember that courage is contagious. These are not techniques to fix the future, they are practices to stay awake in it. Each pause, each reflection, each shared breath rewires your nervous system for resilience, transforms fear into awareness, and turns uncertainty into space for discovery. In uncertain times, the most valuable skill is awareness itself. Renewal does not mean returning to who we were. It means remembering who we have always been, beyond the titles, the roles, the noise. Awareness without action is like a compass without direction. It points the way, but we still need to take the first step. So, let us bring these reflections into practice. Here are three simple ways to turn stillness into strength and awareness into adaptability. When uncertainty hits, pause, then ask, what is the potential here that I don't yet see? This one question moves your brain from threat mode to possibility mode. It rewires your focus from what is ending to what is emerging. You can't always control the change, but you can always choose the frame through which you see it. 2. Create a learning portfolio. Once a month, take a blank page and draw three columns. 1. What I use daily. 2. What I love doing. 3. What I want to learn next. This small reflection turns your career into a living, evolving portfolio of value, not a static job description. When you see your growth clearly, you stop chasing security and start cultivating relevance. 3. Practice the 2-minute reset. After a tough meeting or a long day, step away from the screen. Notice three things you can see, two things you can hear, and one thing you can feel right now. Then take two slow, conscious breaths. It's simple, but it tells your nervous system, I am safe, I am aware, and I can begin again. These may seem small, but so is every seed that grows into something lasting. Start with awareness, add consistency, and watch how your world begins to change. Stillness is where clarity begins. Practice is where clarity becomes strength. The age of automation is not the end of work, it is the beginning of awareness in work. It is reminding us that our deepest security doesn't come from titles, routines, or roles, but from consciousness. AI may change what we do, but it cannot change who we are. Because beneath all the tools and technologies, there remains something no algorithm can imitate: the stillness of human presence, the capacity to notice, to care, to create with meaning. When the world replaces your job, it's inviting you to rediscover your value. Every wave of change carries both loss and possibilities. And while the world races to make things faster, we have the rare privilege to make them deeper. The future will reward not the loudest voices, but the quietest mind. Those who lead from awareness, not anxiety. You have been listening to The Inner Compass with Kishore. I am Kishore Kumar Thakur, leadership coach, facilitator, and lifelong student of ancient wisdom for modern leadership. If today's reflection resonated with you and you are navigating uncertainty or change in your own leadership journey, I would be happy to connect. You can reach me through my website www.lifecoachkishore.com. Sometimes a single conversation can create an opening, a space where clarity begins. Pause, listen, lead from awareness. Thank you.